Once upon a time, in a tall oak tree at the edge of a quiet meadow, lived a little bird named Luma. She had soft gray feathers, bright, curious eyes, and a secret she tried very hard to hide. Luma was afraid of flying. Every morning, the sky filled with wings. Sparrows darted like arrows, swallows looped and laughed in the air, and even the clumsy pigeons flapped proudly from roof to roof. Luma watched them from her branch, gripping the bark with trembling claws. "Come on, Luma," chirped her best friend, Pippin, swooping past her nest. "The wind is perfect today." Luma smiled weakly. "Maybe tomorrow," she said, for the 100th time. The truth was, she had tried once, just once. When she was younger, she had leaned too far forward, felt the world tilt, and tumbled only a little before landing in a bush. It hadn't hurt much, but the sudden rush, the helpless falling, stayed with her. Ever since then, the sky felt too big and her wings too small. So Luma stayed in the tree. She listened to stories instead of living them. One afternoon, a storm rolled in faster than anyone expected. Dark clouds swallowed the sun, and the wind shook the branches wildly. Birds scattered, racing for shelter. Luma clung to her nest as rain poured down, her heart pounding. Then she heard it a tiny peep. Below her, tangled in wet grass, was a chick from another nest, soaked and shivering. The wind shoved the branch again, and Luma's nest cracked. She looked at the chick. She looked at the sky. Her wings trembled. "I'm scared," she whispered to herself. "But you're more scared." Before she could think too much, Luma jumped. The air rushed up to meet her, just like before, but this time she didn't fight it. Her wings opened on instinct, catching the wind. She wobbled, dipped, then steadied. The world stopped spinning. She was flying, not perfectly, not gracefully, but she was flying. Luma landed beside the chick, wrapped her wings around it, and with a deep breath, lifted them both into the air. The wind pushed and pulled, but she held on, guiding them back to the oak tree. When she reached her branch, soaked and shaking, the storm began to fade. Pippin stared at her in awe. "You flew?" Luma looked at her wings, then at the wide, open sky. Her heart was still racing, but now it felt lighter. "I was afraid," she said softly. "But I did it anyway." From that day on, Luma still felt nervous before taking off, but she learned something important. Bravery wasn't the absence of fear, it was flying despite it.